itself too seriously.
Montmartre's the only part of the city that gets me.
Government's reinventing the wheel.
Still digging up bits of the Bastille.
Time to admit, this country's a circus.
There were too many Louis,
Too many Napoleons.
Too many choices for future historians.
At least in Montmartre we get lost on purpose. If you wanted God, there's no Notre Dame. We deal in something different than salt, found in the passage between brains and heart. Montmartre is for all.
Hello!
Hello, everybody.
Hi, we're the creators. We're Kelly Lynn D'Angelo, Matt Dahan. Music and lyrics is Matt.
Hey, guys.
This way.
Man, we got Kelly Lynn D'Angelo on book and lyrics.
Hey, we're
How
really
am I doing?
excited.
Am I doing the directions
I know,
right?
I don't know either.
feel
I think
like
it's
I'm
this
already
way.
screwing this up.
Yes. We're really excited to be here, everybody. We can't wait to bring in the amazing cast that's on this album. Some of them, they're just incredible human beings and people. So let's bring them into the listening party / hangout
Let's
/
go.
just chilling.
What
Oh my
is
goodness.
Oh.
Oh my
One by
goodness. This is the
one.
coolest
Look
thing.
at these beautiful faces.
Hello,
Thank
you
you to
beauties.
Broadway Records for helping us coordinate and put this all together and for distributing our beautiful deluxe album that we're going to be talking about and celebrating.
Yes,
Because
yes,
the 1 year.
I can't believe it's been a year since that record came together. Been 20 years, 30 years, 100
75
years.
years.
I was 40. when we
You were
recorded.
40 when this
Yes.
You
Yeah.
celebrated your 40th.
And you
time
still
recording.
are.
And you still are.
Before we all age out and we become,
Yeah.
the years go on. Let's go around the circle and introduce ourselves. So again, I'm Kelly Lynn D'Angelo at Kelly Lynn Dang, and I am one of the creators.
Yeah, I'm Matt Dahan at Matt Dahan Music, and I wrote the music and the lyrics with Cal.
Nice. I'm Joe Viba. Hey.
And who do you play on the concept recording?
Who do I play? I play Theo.
Yeah. We're nailing this.
I think, am I next?
Yeah,
Go for it.
yeah.
I'm, what is my Instagram name? JL Beatty? I don't know. I'm Daniel Beatty.
Yeah.
Find me on the internet. I play Emile Bernard on the album.
Oh, yes.
I am Natalie Arena. I play Augustina on the album. My Instagram handle is my name.
Sweet.
I'm Jeff Blim. I play Pirate Gogan on the album. That is Paul Gogan in real life. R.I.P.
R.I.P. All right.
I'm Michael Minto, and I'm the same thing is my name. And I played Toulouse-Lautrec and then random voices in the background.
Oh yes, those random voices.
Which
Thank
we
you,
all
Minto.
did, I guess.
Just critical.
Yeah, I'm Dylan Saunders. That's my name and my handle, and I play Vincent.
I'm Mariah Rose Faith. I played Joe on the album, and my Instagram handle, which I have never changed since 2012, is Mrostagram. So
That's sweet
Mra-
handle.
Instagram.
Well,
Let's talk some more about
probably-
Instagram, can we?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
talk
let's
a
really
little
just
bit about
dive
Instagram.
in to what
This is an
people are
Instagram
here
live.
for. No, it's like really exciting to get everybody together. Some people have been a part of the show for like I don't know since 2020 years.
20 years.
Well, we landed on 12
Yeah.
years.
I
Mhm.
think Matt, did we start in 2017? I think it was early 2017.
It was
Am I crazy?
2016, I think.
Well, we
2016.
started writing it in 2016, but I think the first workshop was 2017. Am I crazy?
I think
Am
that
I
was the
crazy?
first workshop, but we started writing songs, I think, early 2016.
And speaking of the first workshop, somebody in here was in the first workshop. Jamie Lynn.
Hello.
She
Is
was
that
in,
the
like,
one
our-
that was at Rockwell that I saw?
You saw
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I went to that. I went to
I
went and
was
saw that.
there.
and I thought it was great. But there's a side. I think I've told you guys a story about the guy who played Vincent, who in a
Oh, Mike
previous.
Fruet. Yeah, he's
Yes.
great. Fantastic.
Yeah.
He's great.
Just I have like a funny actor story about him that makes me
You
laugh.
have to now tell it. Mike's a great
Oh.
guy, by the way. Lovely
He's
human being.
incredible.
But Dylan, you got to tell the story. It's so good.
Yeah,
I think I've heard the story, but it's the best story I've ever heard.
I went to see Jamie was. I'm sorry. This is a fun one. I went to see the show. Jamie was like, "Come see the show," and I had no idea what it was. And Rockwell was like packed full of people, and it was like a presentation of a couple of the songs from the show. And this guy who was playing Vincent Van Gogh, I was like, where do I know this guy from? I've like seen this guy, or maybe I've auditioned with this guy or like something. And there's everyone here will know this like sense of being an actor in commercial auditions where you get paired with people all the time, just random people that you have to audition for. And months prior, I had to go to a commercial audition where I had to be in a barbershop quartet. And so they were pairing people together in like groups of 3 and 4. And I was like, oh, it's this guy. I was in this like all-state on commercial audition with this guy where I had to be in a barbershop quartet. And the best part of this story is that when, everyone's like, oh, great job. That was really fun. Like, great job. You guys sound great. And we're walking to our car. And this guy goes, hey, can I just ask you a quick question? And I said, sure. And he goes, do you have abs? And I said, do I what? Do I have what? Do I have abs? Like abs on my stomach? And he goes, yeah, I'm in an all-male a cappella group, but you have to have abs. And I just was like, I don't I pretty proudly don't have them. And then there was this pause where he was like, well, do you think you'll ever have abs?
Yeah. He wanted to, and his ab quartet.
Maybe it wasn't a direct quote, but like I remember him being like, do you think you'll ever get them? And so months had gone by, and I'm like at the show, and I'm like, where do I know this guy from? This Vincent Van Gogh. And I'm like, oh my God, this was the guy who's asked me if I was ever going to have abs. Anyway, that's my. I have a question.
He takes crazy care of his body. It's such a great story.
That the a cappella group was called Ab Capella.
I think it was something.
I think
it's called Hunkapella.
Hunkapella.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
There's no shortage of amazing names.
Yeah, it was such a cool phase in time too, because we were kind of just like, we found all these amazing people. We were kind of just like playing around. I mean, we're still in some ways, Matt and I, playing around with the show. I mean, obviously it's musical and development, but I remember those early days, and Mike's spirit and heart were so great. Then he moved to New York City. And that actually is kind of how some things fell into place for later on when we did, which many of these people were in, a staged reading at, where was it, Matt? Boston Court.
Boston Court.
Los Angeles. So.
Oddly enough, in Glendale, California.
Yeah. And this show's been in such everyone's heart and soul and spirit are like in the show and kind of like woven in this sort of magical way with it. And so it's just exciting to be together right now and have these stories with abs.
Abs.
If we don't get 2 more ab stories, I'm walking.
Yeah, we had to cut the abs song out of the musical. We cut the song about abs out of the show for time.
Actually, good transition, Matt. As I pull up the scripts.
The ab song.
Oh, the ab. Well, I was thinking more the cut part of what you were talking about.
Yeah.
We had to cut a lot of songs as we like developed it with everybody here. And the next song we're gonna play, New Horizon. That was not always New Horizon by any means. And Dylan can speak to that. Mariah, a lot of you guys who've been a part of the journey, that we had done like 3 or 4 different.
I think it was the 3rd or 4th version of the Want song from the musical. Yeah. I think it's been a long, strange journey finding the right thing. And there's still some fragments of the original, Want songs in it that we kept. But finally, I like where we landed. with the
Yeah, wasn't it originally Something After All?
Something After All.
It was originally a take of Something After All. I remember you singing that, Dylan, at Boston Court, and everyone was just like sitting there and soaking in the magic. But I think that the direction we took it in is good. What do you guys all think? We wanted your thoughts.
Well,
Now it's more upbeat.
why did it evolve? Like, do you remember, Matt? Like, what changed? Because Something After All was like very childhood based, right? Like, it was like them as youngsters, and then realizing that the world was changing around them. But like, how did it evolve for you?
Well, it was a lot of it was just the changing of the lead characters in general. I mean, originally Something After All, that was from a letter. Vincent's metaphor about the caged bird, and then wanting to prove to people that, alas, there was something after all. And I'm like, this is like a great jumping off point. So the original Something After All came. But then as the story evolved, then we wanted to find ways to get Theo and Vincent on the level playing field.
Yeah, and it was so interesting because we still have it technically. Like, look at the song is still there, but like it left and then it came back. And then it left, and then it came back. I think when we did the Rockwell show, that there wasn't like any Something After All at all. That had been completely cut from the show at that point. And that was called Paris at Night back in the day, wasn't it, Matt? Am I crazy?
Right.
Boop Boop song, yeah.
Paris at Night. How did that go? Was that the
Mariah knows it. Mariah knows it.
That's currently on the deluxe concept recording now.
Right.
I really liked Mariah's take on it, which was just the Boop Boop song every time.
I still think of that. I still think of it, the Boop Boop song, every time that song comes up. I'm like, oh yeah, the Boop Boop song.
Yeah, well, since we've been chatting and talking about New Horizon, why don't we play a minute of it so people know what we're talking about? You can play along.
Check it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
As children, we would wander with strength in every stride. The wheat fields were our kingdom when you were by my side. Stupid, fearless boys, far from all the noise. Then others came to play, and our castle went away. Still, I know somewhere within us, as hard as it may seem, we could make the sky our own by painting what we dream.
Dang.
Yeah, I remember I always messed up I would mess up within us. I would say between us. Anyway.
Dude, you made some lyrical choices during live performances that I will treasure forever.
Oh God, I'm sorry. I wish.
Dude, I love them all. I love them all.
Yeah, you and Joe killed that song, and you guys were not together when you sang it. Like that's what people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think I sang to you, Joe. I think you had I think I sang to you, which was like very fortunate because you're incredible.
Oh, I remember when we all got together, and so again, we've been kind of like ebb and flow in and out of different shows together, and people have different availabilities, or we have to try something new in new corners. And like when we all got to New York, that was the first time Matt and I got to meet Joe too. And it was just like we were in this like rink-a-dink. Remember that crappy like there was a mold in the ceiling? Do you guys
little rehearsal studio.
Oh man!
It smells like a closet.
Jamie called out the mold. Like Jamie was like, "There's mold."
Wait, where?
In the New York
rehearsal space. I forget the name of it.
Oh,
It's like a closet.
par for the course
That's
with New York. Everything's covered in mold in New York.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's a give a character.
in New York. There's gonna be mold.
Valid point.
That's just where we were at.
When we did round 2 at Rockwell, we I did like so much intense research. I was like, okay, we got to get a little bit better of a space this time. even.
We're figuring it
Minto,
out.
Minto got the grade A treatment in that one because
I
he
did?
only had. Yeah, you
I
only
had
got to,
no mold. That's all I remember. There was
Just
no mold.
no mold less.
no mold.
Zero mold.
But yeah,
That's
it was so it was freaking magical. I remember the first time like Joe sang and everyone, especially Dylan's face.
All the mold disappeared when you opened
Yeah, the mold just healed. It was gone.
Dream.
It was gone. It was unbelievable. Even through like because I was in LA and Joe was on the horn with me on FaceTime and we were like trying to rehearse and stuff like that. And it was like all the mold just vanished everywhere in New York. No, but seriously, even from FaceTime rehearsals, which thank you all for bearing with me through all of the. It's so weird doing FaceTime rehearsals when I can't play along with you guys, but it blew me away. And the mold.
Honestly,
really
I'll be honest. I have had like 4 people from my college message me and be like, "Wait a minute, you were in a show with Dylan Saunders and Mariah Rose Faith and Jeff." I'm like, "Whoa, hold on now, yeah, but who are these people? I have no idea." Like, I'm a guy. I love to play football and basketball, and so doing musical theater, I'm always learning more about the shows and stuff. But I had like 6 people like on the same day. They were like, whoa, wait a minute. You got a song with Dylan Saunders? I'm like, yeah, how do you know Dylan? Like you guys. And
He's huge about football. Dylan's a huge football guy.
I could have told you that. How did you guys meet each other? Did you say that and I wasn't paying attention?
Oh, us?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to go around and talk about how we met everybody. So this is cool.
I was saying Joe in particular because he was out in New York.
Oh, I think I
Backstage.
put a call. I put a call out
Backstage.
because I got a nice little agenda. I got a secret, not so secret agenda. Like I'm native, and so it's been my secret hope to like sneak into the musical theater scene somehow because it's hard for women and it's hard for people of color. So it's like my secret agenda. And as we slowly build out and grow, that's the hope. So like when I found Joe, with Matt, I was just like, I sent it forward to everybody, and I like started, dude, like I seriously cried at your submission. You were our first submission. Did you know that? Wow. Joe, you were our first submission.
I didn't know that. I'll take it.
Absolutely throttled us. Mm-hmm.
Hey, I was throttled to be involved. I mean, I just love Vincent Van Gogh in general. So seeing the posting, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Didn't know that Brown played into my favor, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
Listen, I've wanted that from the get-go. I wanted it from the get-go. Like just people, all different people of color playing all different roles in this, where it's blind color casting, but you have to like go forward with an agenda or else you get too many submissions from a spread of others. And that's great and that's fantastic. But I had a mission. I don't care admitting it, at least initially.
Like when we heard, I just remember hearing Joe's verse for the first time and being like, oh, am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah.
I was just like, holy shit. I was like, this guy can freaking sing. And I feel like all of us were just like, this is magical. And I remember looking at Natalie and you're like, I don't know that.
You have these like buttery riffs. Like your riffs were made of butter.
You guys are too kind. You guys are too. I'm gonna go cry now. Thank you.
Your reading of the letters and everybody's reading of the letters and their performances. So many different people have stepped into different roles. That's the cool thing about the show too, is like people have kind of come in different spaces. And I mean, I got a crazy story. I don't know if I'm going to tell it on this live stream. Maybe I'll save it for a later day, but Matt knows like maybe initially I had some people in mind for different roles. And then when they stepped up or went into different corners, everyone I was like, do you see them in this role? And Matt was like, let's go for it. And magical things happened from that. So like, I know Mariah, I think we had you read for, what did we, was it August?
It was Segatory initially.
Yeah. That was what I did initially, was Segatory. For like when it was just at one of your readings at the house for like Act 1, I think. I think only Act 1 was alive then. And
And Jamie too. Jamie also stepped in as Augustina several times. And Natalie, we found Natalie for the Rockwell performances because Jamie couldn't do the Rockwell show, and Natalie is just I mean, you're all stars. You're all
I'm
shining.
glad. Natalie, you killed us so hard. I just, when we were in the recording studio, I was like, can you play Natalie's part again? I just want to know what you were saying. In the Sower. Oh.
Yeah, that's such a good song. Yeah.
Talk about somebody who freaking like slayed the Rockwell showcase too. Like Jeff, you as Pirate Gogan, and that outfit.
Bringing it back.
No, I'm not even joking. The fans are obsessed with you in that outfit. Like
I was obsessed with the outfit.
Oh
That
God.
was crazy.
Honestly, just give Jeff a sword and all that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he had a sword. He had a
It
sword
was
for a
great.
while.
If we do ever remount the show, can I please be the parrot on Pirate Gogan's shoulder?
We're gonna
Just
add this
add
into the
one.
script.
Yeah.
You need to build that.
Hey Jeff, we need to know. Hey Jeff, everybody wants to know. Do you have abs? We're just wondering.
Yeah,
Actually,
sorry, we should have led with that. Do you have that?
Oh no! This is
My
gonna
my
lead
ab
to that.
situation fluctuates. It fluctuates. It's like you could catch me on a day and I got abs, and you could catch me on a day and I don't.
seasonal. Your abs are
Amen,
seasonal.
brother.
They fluctuate.
Oh, man.
Oh my gosh! Well, speaking of that, maybe Matt, do you want to take the next turn?
It's time to meet all these crazy characters in Segatori's Cafe. The next song we got up is United in Distaste. Roll it.
Another painter in town.
I think it's Theo's brother. You can tell by the frown.
Good man, what's your name?
And what have you got? Just my
Painting? How lovely.
I'll go find a spot.
I'm Vincent Van Gogh.
Yeah, we know who you are.
You do? It's true.
Grab a glass from the bar.
Raw talent, no doubt, but your palate is hard. You need
Softness.
More angle.
Oh, shut up, Bernard. Right here, add more yellow. This section's too dark.
My brother had mentioned in passing remark that
We'd help you, no worries.
it's because we're nice.
Sit back, have a drink.
See, we're full of advice. Inspirations around any corner. You never know what you may find. For every madam or monsieur has a story to tell with more wine. In absence, you'll see. There's no abstinence ever for me. Does my brush make you blush for my objects of lust? Cause the bust that I paint are divine. There's no guilt or chagrin in the doctrine of Gogan.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
That was Pirate Gogan to the
Pirate
max.
Gogan.
Hey.
Oh my god.
That song
I'll
is
just
a
moving out to that
fan favorite. People are obsessed with that song, and all of you guys on it. Like, yeah, you want to give anybody any insight into United Distaste, that they'll eat it up. So you guys take United away because
That
you're
was
the
so
masters
fun
of
to
it.
do live. That song was like, whenever it came up in the show, it was so fun. It felt like just this giant burst of energy.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was
No,
great, especially trying to mess with Dylan and get as in his face as possible. And like, no matter how much we would do it in rehearsal, we'd be like, oh, we can push it further, and be like, yeah, at least I was doing that. I don't know what you guys are doing, but I was constantly like, how is that just fun?
I remember you guys were all at the cafe, like at the cafe part. So Rockwell's really cool for people who maybe are from around the world who don't understand the space. It's based in LA, and it's kind of like an immersive theater venue where you sit down and you have like drinks and food during like a performance. And I was really lucky in that it kind of like fell into our lap and as an opportunity to take advantage of it. You know, Matt and I had a little bit of money, and we just said, okay, like, let's go. Like, we'll invest our own money in the show, and let's see what happens. We kind of took a leap of faith with all of you guys, literally doing rehearsals out of the garage in my house for like a summer.
The garage.
A crazy summer. And it was so hot sometimes. We had to jump into the pool. It's good memories, but crazy. Crazy hot. And United in Distaste is kind of like, anyway, it reminds me of like all that energy and fun and that sort of like Petit Boulevard energy, like with friends and creatives getting together, as we all know, we're gonna like explode into something great. And such
so like
magic has come from it.
We definitely recreated exactly what it was like back then at that place and time. Exactly.
With the pool?
Exactly.
Yeah, with the pool, the garage.
Pool especially. Lots of in-ground pools in Paris at the time. In Montmartre.
You can feel the swagger though. There's a lot of swagger in that song throughout all of the characters. It's like
that's kind of that's Gogan's MO. I mean, for a lot of the songs for Gogan, I wanted him to have that kind of swagger, which meant a lot of electric guitars, A lot of swashbuckling, you know,
Swashbuckling.
there was a lot of swashbuckling involved in the writing.
Right.
Love it.
But that meant,
you know what
plugging
pirate
it.
Gogan's favorite thing in the world is?
What is it, Jamie?
Art.
Oh, that's a
Yeah, he loved to go down to Montmartre.
Cringe.
Oh, this keeps getting better and better.
I would agree with Natalie. Like that song like comes to life so much more like in that immersive space than like maybe reading at like, you know, like a traditional staged reading. Like everyone's energy was so like active, and we told you guys because we didn't really have a director for that particular take on it. We only had 2 days in like this space to do tech. It was crazy. And we were like, okay, you guys are all amazing people. Let's just take what we've done and workshopped with Michelle Coleman, who's great, at our earlier stuff. And let's just utilize that, re-infrastructure it. And you all kind of took the reins in terms of your interpretation of how that would fit in that space. It was incredible.
I saw
what you guys
it.
did.
It was fantastic. I saw it at like one of the tables, and I remember it was perfect for that venue too, because it's in a cafe and they're at a cafe. So like Natalie was like up on the bar, like actually serving drinks, and like people were like everywhere you looked, like a voice would appear.
Wait, before we hop to the next song, I want to know about everyone's like improv moments like that. Like I must have not seen that Natalie was actually serving Jamie. That's so
no,
cool.
there's no improv.
I don't know if you were serving. You were sitting on the bar. You were sitting on the bar.
I definitely was on the bar. I mean, I feel like everybody had opportunity to kind of mess with the audience. People were eating like French fries off plates or drinking out of their glasses. And
COVID.
Yeah, remember those days?
Pre-COVID time. But yeah, it was ample opportunity to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
But no dogs were there, and that was an issue. I just saw Willie, and I got really excited.
Oh, little fella.
Yeah. Should we do it at a dog cafe next time?
God, I hope so. They're going to be very talkative.
That's a dream. That's a dream right there. Right.
Maybe speaking of Mariah, the next song on the list happens to be a very Mariah-centric song. So if we could play that, I would love to hear it.
I used to play the piano, born and raised every day to entertain. I was a wild and lively child, and those sparkles in my eyes still remain. I know there's more to learn, I know there's more to be, as all the rays of the sun shine beyond the sea. Every moment with the intent to find enlightenment.
Whoa. That was
every time.
Beautiful. Oh my God, I miss you guys so much.
I've been I hear that.
Long time.
Oh my God, that song is a blast.
Beautiful.
That song's a blast to play.
That song, I've actually had like the joy with like, I teach so much now, vocal lessons and whatnot virtually, and acting through song. I've been able to teach this song a lot to kids because there's like YouTube comments that people have made or whatever, and I worked on this song a lot with people, and it's been really cool. Like, what a full circle to do that. And my favorite thing to tell them is just like, it's all pacing, because this song will deceive you of being like, oh, it's so melodic and fun, and then all of a sudden you get to the end and you're like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. So it's just, I don't know, what a cool blessing it's been to work with people on this song.
This is the first time I ever heard you sing, was when you sang this in that garage. Because like I had never met you, and they were like, oh, she's singing Enlightenment, and it blew my mind. Like your voice always blows my mind, but it's so so many colors in your voice. Like your voice is very colorful, and you can hear it in all the little, like in B. Like the word B. When you sing B, it sounds beautiful. B.
It's all about the beautiful. All about the B.
And like the song is the kind of like shaped with you too. Like you made it your own. Like it was there, but it didn't have the Mariah sparkle. Like it didn't have the shape that it needed to be as epic as you made it. So it's like
Mariah, can you tell us the secret to the Mariah sparkle?
Still trying to figure it out. I actually, didn't even know it existed till right now. But trying my best. I'd say
Michael's taking notes.
And
shut up! I can't hear the secret.
We need the recipe. We need the recipe.
Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its. Knew it.
A good cab.
Mhm.
And
I feel like that's good.
A great cap. Cap?
A great cap.
Yeah, that's what I thought I'd throw first. Yeah.
Real fast, Matt, do you remember when you always used to go like, we're taking out this song, like we're cutting Enlightenment?
Oh my God, I joked about it for probably 2 years with you.
Where I was like, are you being serious? Like, are you?
Wait, was that?
Well, you hadn't found the sparkle yet. You found the sparkle and it stayed in.
I was like, you know what? There's just not enough time. Not enough time for this song.
Is it true or was that sarcastic? Were you?
I don't know. He does it to me too, and
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Matt, I'm so proud to hear that you've been secretly fucking with people.
You would have suspected from this guy.
But that's why everybody on their toes. It
was like,
keeps them on their toes.
You were too nice to fuck with me. Are you fucking?
That's why, that's what made it work. That's what made it work all those years.
Talking about F-bombs and where there is one, I don't know if we're allowed to swear, but F-bombs and a pretty dangerous character, because I realized we're on time and I'm going to try to get to our songs occasionally. We are now transitioning to a character who maybe you are all familiar with, Mr. Jeff Pirate Gogan's
Yarr.
song.
Okay.
Yarr.
I wonder, where are we going?
Where are we going?
I've tried to enjoy Parisian life. I've tried to keep it tame. But all of you fools that stick to the rules will die without a name. No, I'm not here to be saccharine. I'm not your Sunday painter. The city of light has lost its fight, and now she's getting fainter. Our work may hope to puzzle, shock, or please them, but no, they won't if no one ever sees them. I need a stronger strategy to seize my immortality.
Where do we come from?
Where are we going? Where are we going? What about integrity?
Oh, Minto.
That chorus sounds great. The chorus sounds great in that song.
That thing pops. Oh my God, that just keeps with the rock and roll kind of theme that we have for Pirate Gogan. We always want to have the guitar plugged in and just turned up with the distortion.
Yeah, fun fact about Pirate Gogan. So we ended up with, I had a small dagger by the end of it. But the first mock-up, I had this long-ass sword. And I kept whacking everybody in rehearsal with it. I couldn't turn around without hitting somebody.
It attached to you.
Yeah. So then I ended up with this tiny dagger.
It just shrunk as the show went
dagger.
forward. As we developed the show, it just kept shrinking. Yeah.
Jeff would get way too into it, and he would be like, hey, I need to warm up for this scene. You mind if I tie you up and talk about it? And I'm like, sure, dude.
Whatever it takes.
That's like one thing that I would say about the album that you kind of get teased on, but you don't know a lot about, is these other side characters from United and Distaste and Where Are We Going, like Emile Bernard and Toulouse, who are just, I don't know. I love the fact that they're kind of like Rosecrans Guild, they're kind of like the funny commentary duo that kind of, they have their own stories, everybody, and they're very important characters, and I don't think a lot of people know that. So a little behind the scenes.
Yeah,
do you guys want to speak to that, Minto, having played
I mean, no, I think that's the most generous take on it. I feel like, yeah, I loved being the comedic relief, and it's nice to have that opportunity to not have to be such a massive integral part like so many of the other characters. So like had more room to screw around and like, you know, kind of throw a wrench into other moments and not divert the entirety. Cause like if Jeff were to do that, it'd be like, you're this huge plot force. So you're like, haha, you're stuck. You can't mess around with that. So
yeah, you got to drink from a cane.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that wonderful cane.
Oh, do you want to tell the story about the cane?
You mean when I lost the cane, or did we fail to bring it from your house from rehearsal to the show, and so I had to go to the and find an aluminum rod that was in like a rusted pile, and then I had to take a used wine cork and stick it.
Yeah, it was a cork.
Yeah, and then
I still have the rod.
The rod on my mouth. Yeah, I don't want to tell that story. I'm good.
No, not that story. We don't have time for that story.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I mean, that song, Jeff just like tore down the house because it's such a different style of song. So like when the rock music would come on, I remember Jeff like would be like would do the equivalent of like "Hold My Beer" and just like take the stage.
Well, it was a sea shanty. I had to do it.
Yes, it was like you're on the bow of your ship.
It's all in the key of C.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments was when he would like be in the center, that light struck above you, the cross, the illuminated cross.
Yeah.
Oh geez, yeah.
There's so that cool cross there for some reason.
Yeah. Where are we going?
Where are we going?
Just never. I'll never stop with that now.
We got a fan question, Matt. You want to throw it at the group?
Okay, the fan question is: were there any other potential characters written?
Oh, that was thrown at us. Oops. I thought I was like, oh, it's for everybody.
Just for all.
Jamie's going to play.
For all.
Parrot,
the
Jamie.
parrot.
The parrot character, of course.
Yeah.
There's 11 o'clock number is.
It's a beautiful soft shoe number.
Yeah, Mr. Timothy makes an appearance. Oh, sorry, the cops.
Oh,
That's coming from me now that they know
finally
about
coming.
But yeah, the characters like Berthe Morisot, Degas, and what else? Pizarro. They kind of like, they're like peppery flavors. But Matt, is there really any other characters we considered?
I mean, there haven't really been any others that have gotten past the point of being just super minor players in the show. I think the people we started out with, in general stuck with.
There was the number where Vincent Van Gogh's ear does the soft shoe.
That's the show I want.
That was an actual. The actual opening for a while.
How do we forget that? How do we forget
my
that?
God.
And the star costume. How do we forget that?
That was
Well,
very
also
Starry
the
musical.
Star
But
costume.
Sunday in the Park with George makes a cameo. He enters.
This was almost a very different show. The show was almost completely different.
Talk about a different show. Ready? Kelly's getting her transitions down as the hour narrows.
These transitions are awesome.
Thank you. I'm feeling like it's organic, right? I don't know.
Nailing it.
But there is a song in the show. There's two songs in the show that have changed like a bajillion gazillion times, and everyone during every version has been so kind as we change them, sometimes by a word or sometimes by whole sections. And so this up and coming song had a lot of different versions, and what landed on the album is also a different take than even what some people did at 54, and different than what people did at Rockwell, and different, like, it's been changing and shaping up. So the next song is called The Sower.
The Sower.
He walks to the fields, sits down a chair. He paints the sower, although no one's there. Brush in his hand, fire in his eyes. One of these days the harvest will rise.
hasn't sold a thing. His canvases are kindling. Something about his coloring makes my eyes sore. Much too messy, seems so desperate, doesn't impress me.
Oh man.
Man, that song has so much going on. That's such a blast to play. That was one of my favorites to play every night.
Yeah.
The ending of that song is so epic, and every time I hear that, I wish we could have heard that.
Can we play the ending?
Oh, God,
yeah. It's like
man.
Matt, you like figured out a way to write like how to make a pin drop in a theater. Like,
oh my God.
that's
Man, the ending of that song has
Was Natalie the first person to record on the album? And wasn't that the first song? Am I crazy?
I think we started with.
The first.
Was it the first song we did? I think it might have been. Because we're like, okay, this is a doozy of a tune. Do we want to start with an easy one or a hard one? And this one, you're like, let's just jump right into it.
Maybe it was because we went through and did all the harmonies on that one, because that is one of the hardest. Yeah, I think that you might be right.
Because that tune is like a jigsaw puzzle. I mean, it's extremely complicated, especially near the end, where it has a lot of syncopation and it's in a weird time signature. And there's so many different things propelling you forward. Then at the end, there's an all skate where all the different characters with their melodies kind of stack on top of each other.
Wait, walk us through the time signatures. What time signature was it?
Well, we're in 3/4 for a lot of the song, so 1, 2, 3. But then it's their syncopation, which makes it feels like you're always missing a beat. Which I'm like,
hemiola? Is that a hemiola?
Kind of hemiola, kind of a.
What section is that? What section is that?
The 3/4 stuff. That's mostly during the hook sections. That that's in 3/4. And I knew we had to have kind of a storytelling where the plot points need to go. They need to move, so we advance a lot of plot in one song. And I wanted to just not be boring. So I wanted to be something that just made you feel like, okay, we gotta keep going. So that melody was kind of the what solved the whole thing.
What was the first song ever written on the album? Thank you, Kirsten. Quickly answer that one. I think it was Starry Night. I think that was the first song.
The Starry Night has a weird history. I'll try to nutshell it. The music for the Starry Night.
Oh, I have an idea.
Yeah.
What if we save it for the song?
Oh, you know what? That's a good idea. For now, I'm going to just say Starry Night was first, and you're going to hear about it. Stay tuned.
Starry Night.
Starry.
But the Sower, like we seriously had to shuffle around so many different people, and the parts with Joe and the parts with Theo have changed like 3 or 4 times. When we went to 54, Joe and Mariah, I think that we had to give you guys a new version of it. And you guys were literally singing like a new version of the song, even though Mariah had just sang a different version like a couple months prior.
I think I've done like 5 different versions of the Sower, without a doubt. But you know what hasn't changed? That grand finale. That
man.
The finale's a blast.
Finale.
So fun.
Gosh.
Speaking of finales, transition over to the finale of Act 1.
Oh, wow, man. Good one.
That was a good
my
transition.
favorite.
That was a good transition. I got the list in front of me. I know what we got to do.
Nice.
Oh, man. Okay, I think it's time to jump over to the finale of Act 1, which is The Road.
The road.
Under the weather, I'm over it. A good spell had forecasted the worst of it. There were too many breezes deep inside, dense and misty, humid and dry. I'm walking away from the whirlwind, hoping lessons I've learned made me thick-skinned. North, south, east to west, navigate from inside you. Listen to your voice, Vince, it will drive you. North, south, east to west, navigate from inside you. With conscience as my compass, I am guided towards the night.
Though there are clouds ahead, I hope that it will be alright.
So beautiful.
Waiting for the red.
The beginning of that song is like the perfect setup for like a COVID musical when he's like under the weather, I'm over it. Like,
That's so
just
true.
imagine like a dystopian world and we're all fighting COVID. That's
Oh my God.
Very topical. Dude, that song has gotten me. Like, I know we wrote it, but like your voice on it, Dylan, and everyone's performance on it. It's just like that song. I just listen to it sometimes, and it helps me carry on. It's really.
I'm gonna listen to the whole album after this.
I'm ready to jump back into it.
Hey, Matt, that reversed symbol.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Man. Oh yeah, you want to feel some kind of, the road is a kind of optimistic tune, but it's like I wanted there to be moments where it just was a little bit of, anxiety in the background zipping in.
It makes me anxious.
Yeah, and that's some of the. I remember when Matt and I were writing it, and he was like, "Okay, so I'm thinking of this at the end of the act." I was like, "Cool," and we were like, "Let's put stuff together and really try to make this like as special as possible." Because Matt's like, "I think I have a musical idea in the back of my mind," and he had already contributed in different ways to other songs, and I pulled up all my poetry from high school, and I started to pull out sections of poetry, and there was a section called like North, South, East, West, like navigate from inside you. And I remember giving it to Matt, and we went through all of this stuff, and like he started to get inspired from it, and I started to get inspired, and then like things kind of built out and shaped up from around it. So like I wrote it during an incredibly anxious time of my life. And like when you say anxious, it's just like that perfect word, Matt. Like that's it's supposed to calm the anxiety. It makes you feel okay, even though you don't. Especially when you deal with anxiety. Yeah,
because he's talking about this road. He has this type of optimism, but then there are things in the song that lead you to believe: is everything going to be okay? Is he going to find his path? Yeah, are we all going to find the path? So that's kind of the headspace musically where it goes.
I remember when we were at Rockwell and we did this, and we got a standing ovation after the finale. Finale in Act 1? Do you guys remember that? That was the second.
That's because Michael showed everyone in his abs.
I had it at the time, right? Yeah, that was a good day for abs. Yeah,
that was good.
Just
definitely a good day for abs.
I remember how epic that was, because like I was like, oh, this is working as an Act 1 finale, and it's because you guys like delivered your souls and spirit into the song. And yeah, anyway, I love that song. I can't say it's my favorite song, but it's my favorite song. So it's my favorite. If you all had to pick one song to hear the first time again, which would you pick? I would say The Road, obviously.
Song to hear for the first time? Oh, man. Red Vineyard.
Yeah. This is hard.
I'd probably say Call Me Maybe. No.
Oh, yeah. Are we talking like all songs in general?
I'd say Enlightenment, for sure. Enlightenment.
I think Starry and The Road. Starry's, I know we haven't gotten there yet, but
Starry.
That part.
I don't know, man. The Red Vineyard, when it's like, I know we haven't gone there either, but like the new horizon. I'm like, every time, like the first time I heard that, I was like, so I would love to do that again.
Thank you.
And go,
God. We'll be hearing it pretty soon. We're almost there.
We're not gonna get to that part. And I love that part.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, nobody said the next song. Oh my God, I'm so bad at this transition.
You're doing great, Kel. Keep it rolling. Keep doing it. You're good at it.
Nobody happened to say the next song, because it's a sadder one. It's a bit more of like the heartfelt sad one that I think a lot of people resonate with, but oftentimes it's a personal song. So I'm excited to hear it and hear Joe's vocals shine their light. So it is On the Threshold of Eternity.
Oh.
A moment, a glimpse of life, crawling on the floor. Insanity's the fear, but that's what your room is for. You're wasting away. Surrounded by thoughts of decay. If someone could reverse the symptoms, you always obey. Sitting on the threshold of eternity.
Oh man. Oh, now I'm all sad.
So good. Felt like butter.
Oh, yeah. This tune murders me every time.
So sad. It's very sad.
I know. This one's the title is based on a painting, as many of our songs are in the show, titled Old Man in Sorrow. And it's just, it has a rare distinction in the show of being the only time where Vincent and Theo sing together, and Theo sings higher than Vincent. Usually, as a rule, Vincent sings higher just because his head's in the clouds. He's always dreaming, and Theo's more grounded, more on earth. So usually I put Theo on top, the bottom, and then Vincent on top. But this time around it's switched because of just the heightened emotion. And it just murders me every time.
Yeah, I remember when we first read through this. We did a bunch of little readings, just in my home, in my place. And I remember the first time, we gave everyone books, we're hanging out and we're reading, small audience, some people we know, maybe 5 or 6 people. And I remember like everyone, we were singing that song and just like, you could see like, it's a hard song to get through because people at that point, in the story, you're really invested in the brothers and their journey. And it's a sensitive story to tell. I there's a lot of honor that comes with it. Like there's a lot of healing. There's a lot of healing that comes with the story. And so it takes special people to give it that grace and that love and willing to open up their hearts and channel time and channel love from then to now. And so when you guys were reading it, I just remember like I couldn't even look up because you could just feel the presence of what their love was and what that story was. So, oh my God, I'm getting like choked up thinking about it. Sorry.
I know.
That intro guitar part is so cool. That intro guitar part is beautiful. I love it.
Was that Josh? Was that Josh Fleury or was that you?
That was me. That was that was one of the first tunes from the early stages of writing the show. And that melody just stuck in my head. I'm like, oh God, this is gonna be a sad song, isn't it? And then it ended up finding its place near the end of the show, and it just summed it up for the brothers.
I remember when Joy Tenenberg took a photo, and it was at the one that you guys were at the Rockwell Showcase that Jamie and Dylan were hanging at the table with, like Clayton and some other people who had been involved with the show. And there's just this photo of like Lennon dancing, to Threshold, this beautiful dance, and you can just see Jamie's face. In the photo, and Jamie, your face looks so sad. Like it was such a beautiful photo because it just captured how invested everybody is in the story, not just like audience members and listeners, but like people on the other side of listening. Like it translates. So
I should use that as my headshot for my
for your crying, all the crying
for all the crying rolls.
There's a lot of emotions at the end of all this. Oh, mercy.
Good memory.
Hey, then.
Speaking of, I'm going to transition. Another kind of like melancholy, bittersweet, but epic song. We're going to hop on over to one of Matt's favorites and
my favorite.
Couple other people's favorites, the Red Vineyard.
Ah! Ooh.
Oil on canvas, a piece of burlap, purchased by a woman at the door. Out of intrigue or out of kindness, it doesn't matter what she bought it for. I should have guessed that your first sale would come from a study that showed a beautiful day of people working hard, of of all things alive. Can't you see, older brother, a life spent learning to walk, finally starting to run? You have been vindicated. You had the answer all along. I can see it now. You're making a fresh start. You move back to Montmartre.
Merciful heavens. So many emotions at the end of this show.
Joe.
Beautiful, my brother.
I'll be honest with you guys. Hey, Fixed. That song, honestly, after I learned more and more about the history behind the painting, the Red Vineyard, and how it was the only painting that Van Gogh sold, and how he basically died broke, it resonated with me specifically with that song. And it's kind of like every time I make something, as an artist as well, I can kind of feel the struggle of like, I'm making it because this is what I do, not necessarily because I need it to be as big as Van Gogh is. And a lot of times, people, I think, get nervous about sharing what they have inside of them. They let their music and their paintings go with them to the grave because they're nervous about how it will be received. So I think people like Van Gogh are icons for artists because you don't necessarily have to take it to the grave with you, or it doesn't have to be recognized on a global level. It's about doing it. The beauty is in doing it. And I think Van Gogh, with this specific song, it hit me. I was like, oh man, I love that.
Damn.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
Joe is just like, you could just I remember like you walking with me and asking about Theo's character. You stopped me after a rehearsal and you were just like, I remember all the research you had done and you were just like, I want to know, like, give me more, like, let me walk a block with you and let's talk because you were definitely like bringing, and in different ways, everybody here has been brought into the fold, into this sort of like collective of artists who are expanding and stretching in different corners and showcasing their skills. Like everyone here is so multifaceted and multi-talented. And it was like you were taking care of us almost, as this, it felt so Theo-y, and it was an amazing moment where I'm like, you're taking care of us. So that's exactly what Theo did with his brother. And it was just, your words just are comforting in general. So can I pay you for a TED Talk just so where you talk for like 2 hours?
I'm Theo Van Gogh. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
I will say, Joe, you speak from such consistently with your artistry and just you as a person and you as a singer and as a performer. I feel like everything comes from such a place of love and like an authentic version of that. And it's just when you talk about what you're talking about, it just comes from such a lovely, warm place.
Speaking of, I think the fans asked a question, not fans, Starries. You guys are just like our I just love you guys. You don't even need a name. You're just wonderful. Who is most like their character?
Michael.
And Michael.
Yeah. Well,
Done.
I don't know. I haven't
I feel like that's where we're at.
But in general, yeah.
I feel like
Is that
Jeff.
unanimous?
No,
yeah.
Jeff too. Yeah.
I mean,
Gogan.
if I put on a pirate outfit every day, maybe you'd have a character.
You wear a pirate outfit.
Oh,
If the
I would
attire
say
is
he's
right.
kind of mean. I don't know.
Wait, what?
No, it's like he's kind of like mean though. You're not.
Yeah,
mean.
you're not mean.
You're not mean.
I don't know.
I would say Mariah's a lot like Joe too. I would say Mariah's a lot like Joe. I would throw that out there.
I do like to tell men that I am just as good, if not better than. So,
get it.
Yeah.
We like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny. I feel like with Theo and when I think of Theo and Vincent, like I feel like a little bit of Theo and Vincent is in both Dylan and in Joe, and like I don't know, like there's a dichotomy there. Like the artistry is there definitely for like Joe, but he has the heart and the giving heart of Theo, and I would actually say the same for Dylan. I would say the same for Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
You like give.
Speaking of Dylan, I think it's about that time.
Hey.
It's about that time for
the titular song.
the titular song.
Starry Night.
Now it appears, after clouded mornings of obscurity, it brought me here to prepare a palette for infinity. When the sunlight fades away, the fragments of the day glitter like smoke through a kaleidoscope. The sight of the starry night makes me whole. It's clear to see the night uncovers richer colors than the day.
God,
Yeah.
brush
Boy.
strokes.
Oh,
Ah!
boy.
Yeah, man, let's all get out our key lights.
Seriously. Who can forget the key lights?
God.
Oh man. I promised to tell my story about this song. This was the first song technically written for this show. The melody on the piano I wrote when I was 16 years old.
No.
It was in theater. There's something called trunk songs that you just keep in your back pocket for whatever the case may be, future shows, anything. In high school, I wrote a show that was so awful that I didn't even name it. And most of it never even saw the light of day, but that melody stuck with me because I'm like, oh, it's so fun to play on piano, even though my hands kill me after playing it. It just stuck with me. And then when it came time to start brainstorming ideas early in the process with Kel, I'm like, well, I have this thing, this melody, and I pulled it out of the trunk, and she's like, this is the Starry Night. This is what it is. Yeah. It just feels like the melody's swirling. It has that kind of energy of constantly like painting fast. And it was a song called I See Something in Your Eyes Tonight. That was the original version of the song.
Wow.
And it's, I see something in your eyes tonight, the sight of the starry night. So that was
I have to admit, as incredible as Dylan sounds on this song, you do sound amazing. When I've seen this performed live, I always watch Matt at the beginning just because you are so into this when you're playing, and like it gives me goosebumps. You're like completely making love to the piano. It's beautiful.
Oh my God.
It's like
Stop
an
it.
extension of you.
It is my favorite part to play. Just right before we do this song in the run of the show, there's something that we call the epiphany moment. It's a very quiet moment. It's on the concept recording as well, like where Vincent kind of has the spark of creation. Then there's like a hiccup of silence, and then you start playing Starry Night, and that's my I live for that moment. I live for it.
And I live for this song. It's like it always, our goal as we've been writing this show for the last 4 years is like, because we made that song first, is how do we service it? Like there's a story circulating around this moment, and hopefully one day when we can put it up on its feet again, we can really keep working on that moment in terms of building an audience with it, because it's really special. Like I don't know how else to describe it. If you're, if you've been to one of our live shows, you get it. Like 54 Rockwell, even a staged reading, there's something captivating about it. And Dylan, you just channel it. Like all eyes on you, except for Jamie's and everybody.
It's just really.
Like, I have to ask about Dylan, what's going on in your mind when you're singing it? Like, I want to know.
It's funny, Nathan. What you said that's exactly how I see Vincent. Is someone who can't see what that his job is to just make. I think I read too that he had done like 21 versions of this painting before the one that like people know. So I don't know, and yeah, we don't get to know how our shit's going to be received in any kind of art, and I think that's what he couldn't get over. And so this is kind of like, maybe for me, it was always realizing that, like, oh, I think I can let go of, the sale. I think I can let go of being remembered. I think I can let go of being told that I'm any good. Yeah.
Comes across.
I do also want to compliment. I think you guys do a really good job in the creation of the song and the lyrics in the first place. Like, it's very clear that Dylan can connect with it super easily when we were doing these performances, and it helps so much to have those feelings reverberate. But your ability to take these very nuanced, specific things. I know this is just a basic writing thing, but when you do it well, it really shines. Take really nuanced, specific things, like you notice there's no darkness, no black or brown or gray, and these things that you could literally spend a lifetime as a visual medium artist poring over that simple fact, and then the implications of it, in an emotional context, is so clear as day. But the perfectness of both of the ideas, and then they're melding together, is so A+. It's
It's so beautiful.
Appreciate that so much.
Been a lot of magic.
As artists looking in, not as not as Vincent the man, but as Dylan looking in. I also caught this, I saw a photo of the asylum too, and the side of the building, where he would have theoretically been looking out, and it's just so beautiful. It's so fucking beautiful, and the just fields of lavender, and it just in context, it's if you've been, he was committed because he was being labeled, paranoid and labeled mentally ill and all of these things, but he still was able to okay, what am I here to do? Even through this little window, I've still got something,
And you touch on something that I think in a lot of I don't know what happened, but I hope that I can laugh with you guys and then get kind of sad in a second. But the reason why I'm excited about what you just said, Dylan, and why that resonates with me as the book writer, which guys, the lyrics are, I write those as well, but no one's seen the book unless you've seen the Rockwell show yet, and I know that, and it would be a dream one day to share a part of the story with more people. But in our approach with Vincent, a lot of stories make him out to be crazy, just what Dylan said. He was labeled as this, put in the asylum because of XYZ, and I think that a lot of the times those things we put on others, those judgments that we cast on others, Vincent, in my humblest opinion, was struggling through things. Yes. Had a complicated health history. Yes. But he never let it define him. He was always working beside it and working alongside it. He was trying to find a way to make it work out. And he didn't have the tools that we have nowadays. He didn't have the support, but he did have the love and support of his brother. Very unique story that kind of dances with this person who is labeled as an outcast. And in a lot of stories of Vincent van Gogh, he's still labeled as an outcast. We try really, really hard in this story to not do that. There's a very different approach, because I don't personally feel that was if there was a chance nowadays for me to extend an arm and tell him he was okay, that's what I wish I could have done. I wish I could have let him know it was going to be okay.
There's something that Michael and I wanted to tell you, Dylan, and we could say this probably about Van Gogh's painting to Van Gogh, that song, every time it plays, is a bop. And most of his paintings, they're bops. We just needed to let you know.
Thank you.
They are bops.
Thank you. Yes, Vincent, you must know that you are a bop.
Your paintings definitely have abs.
I also, tying into Joe's thing earlier about this whole, why you do things as an artist, I do think what you just talked about, Kelly, really ties this in. It's having a positive relationship with any portion of your community, and having people in your life who love you and support you, irrespective of your ability to gain traction in your artwork, whatever the hell that means in your lifetime, is what this is about. And like having that can, like, literally in one person, if even one person believes in you or in the magic of what it is that you do, so for so many of us as artists, that can be enough to be like, wow, my mom really loves when I do this. Who gives a fuck what, like that really can be enough. And I think when we stop chasing those things that in the story we show Vincent chasing and struggling to get, and then the moment of acceptance that Dylan was just talking about of like, screw it, this is all so beautiful. Who gives a shit about toiling over those things?
Yeah, it's not your job.
That's a great metaphor for social media. I think Vincent would have hated. He would have shown his work.
I don't know.
But he would have no life.
Yeah.
It's so, and that's also like an interesting idea, Jamie, in that we're not so different like from what it was back then than it is now. Like a lot of things are parallels, and that's why the song's modern, and that's why our characters' voices are modern. That's why we wanted people with, youth and energy, not to like mimic something that was long gone, because it's not. Like this energy right here, this is all alive.
Yeah,
like it's
this
still
energy could not be more relevant.
She felt so emotionally engaged, she had to yeet out.
Turned off. I was like, there goes my Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Kelly, and there's like also something to like, you're always going to be your own worst critic, always. Like I cannot tell you how many times I've like finished a play or a song and I'm like, what the fuck was that? And people are like, that was incredible. And I'm like, thank you. That's not, I really did. I objectively false. Thank you. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. Like, I have to just trust. I have to just trust that not everyone is fucking lying to me. Like, you know what I mean? And like that, like there can be, it's just the acceptance of the art for what it is, not for like what the reception is.
I think it's hard because as artists, you're like pouring yourself into things all the time and being really vulnerable and open with your emotions. And so when you then don't hear a response, it's even more heartbreaking because you're like, wait, I just gave you a piece of my heart and nobody even
I spent my life leading up to this.
Yeah, and it's like, but the fact that you just make it in the first place should be enough. But it's hard. I mean, I give people credit because vulnerability is a hard thing, but it's a wonderful thing.
And
totally get it.
I know we're going too in depth to this, but same thing that Dylan, you were just talking about, like if once you have this, which I think so many artists like we're talking about have this cycle of being like, I either don't see the reception that I'm like wanting to have or thinking I should have, like you're just talking about, Jamie, or I'm doubting the validity of that reception. Is a cycle you can get cut into. But the cool thing about it is that the way into the problem can often be the way out of the problem, which is that if you are concocting reasons to think that somebody who loves your stuff is full of shit, then you also have the same tools to tell yourself or that part of yourself that it is full of shit.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm full of shit for doubting. Like
turn around the tables on that. Like it's as artists, I think we always have this need. It's a hard word and I hate using it, but like validation is such a integral thing in the process of things, like this need to feel validated, but working on that sort of medium where you can give but self-validate in the way you need to. It's like it's a dance, you guys. It's literally an artistic dance in the sky, and you'll come up and you'll come down, and there will be highs and there will be lows, but life is a beautiful journey, and that feels like grand sweeping overarching sentiments that lead well
yes, indeed,
into maybe our last song here. Maybe, you know, what I mean by that is
we might have a few more.
There's a remix.
It's never the last song in my heart.
It always is one big circle. This here,
Speaking of corn, next to corn's planted wheat, and this song is called Wheat.
Wheat Fields.
To grow, you must fall into the earth. a dreamer. Let me feel the sun before the fall, I pray. I just want to live again, but I can't stay. I'm ready for harvest time. I'm ready. There's beauty in the pain. Just look deeper.
No longer the sower, but the reaper. It struggles like the devil in the heat of day. I want to live again, so I can't stay.
Before I wilt away, before the rotting and decay.
My goodness. Oof. Every time I hear that song, I kind of breathe with it. Oh my God, you guys sound so beautiful in that.
I love those.
That was one thing when I was working with the tracks. I would just like mute everybody else and just listen to that and I'd be like, it sounded so
Natalie, you
good.
sound so majestic. And
I actually forgot that I was going to hear myself because I'm used to a guy singing that part.
Yeah. I mean, Wheatfields has gone
cool.
through such a trip. I mean,
know.
this song has been in and out of the show a billion times. And then it got to a point where I'm like, Kelly, I don't want to do Starry if Wheatfields is not in this show. And then we finally found a way to make it work. And that was the flaw in it originally, was that it was it wasn't just Vincent anymore. Now it's
Yeah.
everybody.
It used to be
when it was
just Vincent's song.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeff,
when
go
it
ahead.
was
Go
just
ahead.
Vincent's song, it was a journey of a vocal track, man. By the whoever could sing it, good luck. Good
Yeah.
luck.
I did.
It ends on an A, right?
Yeah, it ends on an A. Yeah.
There's an A.
Hey, you guys remember when we were wheat? Do you remember when we were
Yeah,
wheat?
you guys-
I remember well.
Yeah.
We got
Oh,
very
yes.
experimental because again, you guys made
Is that
choices.
real?
we had
Yeah,
to-
it was like here.
Yeah.
You guys were wheat?
Yeah.
We were wheat.
Oh my
Oh, I
God.
love that.
Oh, yeah, that song and just this is great.
Which I think had lost.
Matt, you gotta get in on the meme. Get on the meme, Matt.
Wheatfields.
We're all the fields.
I just remember I was sitting behind. I was sitting behind Jeff, and I remember one show, Jeff. I feel like you just got tired, and I remember your arm just like straight up.
Oh yeah. No, my arms were either here because I was tired or they were locked out.
There's no in between.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that used to be. It used to be like the Starry Night and then a scene and then Wheatfields. And like I was as a book writer, I was like, and as working on pacing, I was like, that's just a lot of Vincent. Like that's a lot of Vincent at the end of the show. Like I feel like we need to have a different tone or shift it a little bit and try to get it more of a finale song going. So Matt and I tried to put our heads together on this one for a bit, and then we landed on this one. And quite a few people, you guys, we never just to be clear, we never workshopped this formally in like a space. We've performed this in at like 54 venues and Edinburgh and stuff, but we haven't performed.
Oh Lord, it'll never end.
But we haven't performed it like live. So when people came in to record this, it was a new thing. Like everyone was like, "What?" Yeah.
The first time a lot of people heard it was when they were brought in for vocal sessions, and it was like, "Whoa, what am I doing? What am I doing?"
The meaning of this song is really potent. It's like it's relevant to what we were referencing before about just like being and creating. And if that's who you are, it shouldn't necessarily be attached to a result or an outcome. What's more important is the output of what you're doing. And I like that the output in this song is like planting the seeds and then finally getting to harvest, meaning that like, even if you are putting in the work and people aren't, validating you, you're not receiving the thing that you think you should get from your work, you're still planting seeds that if you water them, they will grow. It doesn't have to be the biggest tree, but it can still grow, So I'm ready for harvest time as an artist is like all the work, or as a person, all the work I put in, all the 7-day weeks, all the time I spent doing this, it's gonna pay off if I water the seeds, if I'm patient, I'm ready for harvest time. I love the lyrics. So Kelly, did you write that, Kelly? You snapped on that.
No, I was just snapping on your words, but like, Matt and I wanted to thread in a lot of ideas throughout this. It's very much so for yourself. Like there are themes, there's a story to be told, and it's hopefully concise and people get excited about it. But the reason why I really like the sharing this with everybody and getting a chance to workshop it and bring it into the world is because I think everyone sees themselves in different corners of it. Like with those seeds that we're planting, who and where do you see yourself in this field? Like you might need to grow in a different way, the way that Joe did. You might need to grow in a way that like Vincent did. And you listen to these songs and there's nobody can say one's my favorite. Like you go around a circle and everyone has a different song that maybe resonates with them at a different point in time. And everyone has a different character, maybe that resonates with them at a different point in time. And I think that circularity and that sort of harvest is an integral part of being an artist and figuring out, well, what seeds do I need to plant again? Because even though you might reap, even though you might harvest, you plant again. Like there is circularity in the universe and in time and in one another. I sound native as hell.
Seasons will change, the harvest will rise.
That same lyric, or that same like lyrical structure, the part where Dylan, where you go like, the A that you're talking about, the I've already won, is like, I think my favorite lyric in the whole musical.
That's
exactly the reason. It's you're never going to stop toiling. I mean, ultimately that may be a strong contributor as to like not enjoying that process, maybe what prompted him to end his life or not being able to, for whatever things he was plagued by. But the ability to recognize that like I've already won is the capitulation of all that stuff we were talking about of like this right now, what I'm doing, what I've been able to do, all this time I put in, this commitment to this thing that I love is the victory in and of itself, not waiting for this monetary or social outcome of it. It's great.
No, and that's really, I mean, in some ways I think everyone's been a part of that. Like that's the heart of the show. It's like, we're not approaching this in a traditional way by any means. We're trying so hard to keep that energy and that zeitgeist of his heart and of the artistry of it. It's the journey, not the destination, truly. It truly is. And I mean, we're on a journey right now, like with COVID, like Mariah, I gotta say, I was so excited. I was gonna get tickets. I was going to bring everybody, and we were all, she was touring with Mean Girls, as everyone knows, and to be able to kind of like to have to in some ways step back and look at everything that's been lost, but everything that's been found, new things are springing up now, and I know good things are ahead, even if you can't see it. I can't see it now.
Just profound hope at a time of uncertainty, finding the unconditional love. That's what this ending is about to me.
Yes, Dylan has abs.
I can see it now, but I think we're all gonna have abs.
I feel like I've grown abs. Just
maybe not in this life.
I feel like I just unleashed the whole. I kept that story close to my chest.
That is a wonderful story.
And
close to your chest, but down to your abs. And really where it should have been all along.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I don't want to say goodbye, but we are over time, and I know that everyone has a life, and people are in New York right now, also running this and going over time with their life.
Thank you guys.
So thank you to Broadway Records for putting this together, and
Sophia for helping us out.
Sophia, Dina, Van for giving us a chance to just celebrate a year, not just a year, but like 4 years of a show and workshop, and you know what? how long has it been, you guys? Again, how many years has it
It's
been?
been at least 108 years.
108. It was 100.
It was it when they
108 years.
All
Yeah.
of those years.
Seems right.
To just like kind of celebrate having each other and being able to share with each other and be in each other's lives. So I love you guys all very much. Cornfully
I
so.
love you too.
You guys,
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for being here with us.
Jamie
And-
and I are going to hang out because we have no life, but
Guys, and if you haven't gotten the deluxe record yet, please get your hands on it. It's like a beautiful item in and of itself. There's amazing artwork in it. The CD is incredible, and you get the new tracks too. So,
Hey,
Yeah.
have you guys ever considered putting it on vinyl?
Oh,
It has been a conversation.
that is a dream of mine for years.
It's been a
I would
conversation.
love to make that happen at some point.
108 years.
Have you guys ever dreamed of
The
putting it on
inception of
cassette
vinyl. This has been my dream.
Putting it on what, Jamie?
on cassette tape?
Cassette, we can make that happen. We got this. Cassettes are going to make a comeback. I can feel it.
But truly, thank you again. Have a great Friday. The baby Vincent's birthday is coming up. It's on January 31st. There's a reason why we released it on that
Yes.
date. So it's a new year, a new season, and y'all have a starry night.
It's the middle of the day.
It just never ends. Big love to everybody. Stay safe and healthy.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.